right? Whatever is in that circuit is your belt buckle. Whether it's a light, whether it's a water pump, whether it's whatever, your circuit is connecting your positive to your ground with whatever's in the middle, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And just to touch on that a little bit, like when you're doing diagnose, that's the same idea, is to find that the piece that's not working right.
Correct. Yeah, literally.
You would go, you find your ground,
Mhm.
and then you touch that that component.
So exactly that. So if you have let's say you have good ground, right? And you test for positive here, I don't have it. I go back and I test for positive here, I don't have it. I go back and I test for positive here and I have it. Well, what's the next thing in line that didn't have it?
Right, the ones
That's where the
previous,
problem's at.
the
Yeah.
ones that were previous
Correct.
are bad.
Yeah, because the circuit is so simple. It's just a singular circuit. Now you may have other lights in line and blah, 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 but that's the same scenario of like, well, this one has power, this one doesn't, this one doesn't, this one doesn't. Well, obviously the problem's here, right? Alternating current. This is your AC stuff. This is testing your 120 or 110. This is a little more complicated. A good way to think about it is like a piston. Okay, alternating current fluctuates power in and out. That's why it's usually a 3-wire system or more. It depends on how many hots it has. Because you have your hot and your ground, but because the power circulates back and forth, it uses the neutral to send the power back to the source. So it adds another, you can have good power or good ground, but the circuit's not complete if it's not sending the power back through the neutral, right? So all it does is basically take this scenario and make it harder for the most part, right? It's adding a third thing that you have to go through and test. For the most part, on a lot of the basics that we do, just making sure that you have good power and ground is good enough. The likelihood that you have an issue with neutral is there. It's a possibility, but it's not something that we run into common. So don't stress about that kind of stuff.
So on that one,
Yes.
like you would go, you're gonna like you're saying the neutral brings it back. You would test you find your ground, and then you would test your positive, but then you'd also test your neutral.
Correct.
To see if they're.
Yeah, because you could have, say you're testing something that's 110 super basic, right? And you're testing your negative and your hot at the source, and I have good power and ground going out to it, and I test my neutral on my comeback side, and I've got nothing coming back. I know that part's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now that same scenario right there is not a common scenario. More than likely, you would have no power and ground there, or you would have power and ground there. You go and test this, and you have power and ground, and the system still just doesn't work. It's probably that piece that's bad. Chasing neutral is not a huge deal, but it's something that you have to think about. It's not as simplistic as this. I have power, I have ground, it should work, right? Questions on that? Okay. Continuity and ohms. So sometimes on your meter, you're going to see these symbols together. Sometimes it's one thing, sometimes it's not. Continuity is the easiest one. Continuity is just checking to make sure that the circuit is able to be completed. It just makes sure that there's no breaks in the line, that it's open from this end, open to this end. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's connection there.
Correct. So continuity would be, I'm testing a line, right, from this switch to this light, okay? And my light's not working, I have good power at my switch. Okay, I'm gonna check. They're super short distance, I can get in there and check, right? But they're hidden by a wall. Well, I test this, and I test this line on the other side, I have no continuity. I have nothing from here to here, right? Oh, come to find out, the wire's pulled loose of the connector, it's not even connecting on the back here, right?
Or there's a break in the wall.
Or there's a break, yeah, they stay shot, screw through the thing and it completely broke the line in half, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Super simple. Okay. Ohms are a little bit more different, but we should be using ohms more than we do. Ohms is a measurement of resistance. So every single circuit has a allotted amount of resistance, whether that's from fixture itself, or if it's supplemented resistance with like a resistor or something like that. But generally, a lot of different things have a certain ohm range that they can be in. For example, an easy one to talk about is like water heater heating elements, right? So water heat, you can pull a water heater heating element out, and you can test for continuity to make sure that the loop is good, right? And you could have continuity, but then you check it for its ohm resistance, and it's below. Say it's supposed to be at 10, or the range is, let's say, 9 to 11, and you test it, and it's at 8. Well, it's no good. Even though we have good resistance, it's not working well enough. Or communication cable.
So in that situation, the resistor's bad?
The heating element's no good.
Huh?
The heating element's no
Oh.
good. So everything has an allotted amount of resistance that it's capable, like a range that it should be in. So if it's not within range, it's no good. A good example, I was working on a jack system, and I had to test the canvas cable that ran from the multi-plus board down to the liver one control for the brain, right? The system was stuck in a fault mode, it wouldn't clear, and what it ended up being was the cable. I went through all the tech support stuff with them, and the cable's supposed to be in a range of, I think it was like 115 to 125 was the ohm range of that cable. Even though I had continuity, continuity cable, it was good. Supposed to be between like 115 and 125 or whatever. It was at 108. So there wasn't enough to flow through to be able to function the system the way it was supposed to. Ohms can be used when you're testing a lot of electrical components. They usually have an ohm rating. So it's easy to tell you. The difference when it talks about ohms is some meters, when we go through and actually do like the, hey, this is how you set your meter to do this. Some meters have more ohm options than others. Like some will be 20, 200, 2K, 200K, you know what I mean? And depending on what your range is where you set that.
Mm-hmm.
When we do it on the actual meter, I'll show you guys. You have questions on that?
No, but I would need to get ran through that, you know.
Yeah, ohms, that's the reason we should use ohms more than we do to test things, but we don't, because that's probably the most confusing one out of these basics. So we'll get there and we'll show you that. Last quickie that we're just going to touch on real quick is amperage. I know we talked about this before. Amperage is the easiest one to ruin your meter. It's the easiest one to not set up correctly. It's the easiest one to have the wrong information. It's the hardest one to do, okay? So this one we'll do our own separate thing on. If you're working on something and you have to test for amperage or whatever the situation is, come get me and I will help you. Buddha?